All right, good morning, everybody.
Can I help you today if you need a lift somewhere?
It's my car is right by Marrickville.
Did you leave it there?
Huh? Yeah, I left it there.
I thought you just went there.
No, because once I'm there, I
Why
just
don't you park in the building?
No, he went to Marrickville.
to drop off. Okay, good morning. Tuesdays we are going to continue with halachas. We're doing Hilchas Kaviyas Itim LaTorah, and I thought we'd jump from there into Hilchas Talmud Torah, which is Siman in Yeridea, Siman Reish Ayin Vav, and here the Shulchan Aruch is going to go a lot more deep into the halachas of learning Torah, the requirements of learning Torah, when, where, how. So we're in Siman Reish Mem Vav, and it's a little, I'll just show everybody how to navigate over here. There's a little clip over here, so I took just where it says Aleph, so just that line, Kol Ish Yisrael Chai B'Talmud Torah, and then it continues on to the next page. This is already the next page. Next time I'll just print out all the pages, but I wanted to save a little space over here, so it'll be Kol Ish Yisrael, and then continuing down here. But just a little primer before we get in. We have 4 mitzvos in the Torah of learning Torah. We have Vishinantam Levanecha. We also have Vilimadatam Osam, Ushmartam Sosam, which is another pasuk in Devarim. Then we have Laman Yilmadun, that you should also be teaching Torah in order that you learn Torah. As well as V'yigisa bo yomam v'layla, that you should be delving into learning day and night. So we have total 4 mitzvahs in the Torah when it comes to learning Torah, right? So not just one time that the Torah talks about it, learning, Vishinantam, V'lemadatam Osam, Laman Yilmadun, and V'yigisa bo yomam v'layla. And over here, I'm looking at the Psakim Utshuvos, and he writes over here that learning Torah has many different kind of elements to it. There's the mitzvah of learning Torah, right? So that we're going to have to get into. Then there's the mitzvah of Yediyas HaTorah, which is knowing Torah. So there's another mitzvah of actually having knowledge of Torah. And there, it wouldn't help to learn Torah and then forget it. There's actually a requirement of retaining that knowledge. And for that, a person would have to do chazara pretty regularly. And then you have the mitzvah of teaching your kids Torah and teaching students Torah, teaching Torah to other people, like saying a Devar Torah at the Shabbos table. One would fulfill something, that last mitzvah. So we also have the mitzvah of teaching Torah to our kids, and that's Vishinantam Levanecha. You should teach your kids the Torah. So we have a special mitzvah to teach our kids, to send our kids to Cheder or KTC, or wherever they're going to get a Torah education. So we have all these different mitzvos that are going to be included, and in Siman Reish Mem Vav, he's kind of going to be jumping from one to the other. So he's going to start with the mitzvah of actually learning Torah yourself, and then we'll see later it's going to kind of go into the mitzvah of teaching your kids Torah, as well as the mitzvah of remembering Torah and not forgetting it. And retaining the knowledge of Torah. So starting with the beginning of the Siman, we're in Siman Reish Mem Vav Sif Aleph. He says, Kol Ish Yisrael, every single Jewish person, Chayav B'Talmud Torah, is obligated to learn Torah. And he says, Bein Ani, whether you're poor, Bein Asher, whether you're rich, Bein Shalem, Begufay, whether you're whole in your body, Bein Bal Yisurim, or whether you're going through a lot of difficulties. I believe he's referring more specifically to health-wise, right?
Say physical pain.
Yeah, physical pain, right? Different ailments or issues. Reb Nosson Tzvi Finkel was known to suffer from Parkinson's for the last 10 years, I believe, last 10 years of his life. And he didn't stop. My brother had a chavrusa with him, one-on-one. And he would learn back to back without the students. And he didn't want to take the medication that can get you under control because it affects your mind. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. And he wouldn't be able to be as sharp in his learning. So he would rather sit there riddled in pain and agony than to than to take the medicine that would stop him from learning. Amazing. But Bein Bachar, Bein Zaken Gadol, whether you're young, right, you got young energy, or no, you're very old. Afilu ani hamachazer al apsachim, even a poor person who needs to knock door from door, you would think, he's already pater from learning. Afilu bal isha ubanim. And even a person who has a wife, which we know can take a lot of time, and you have kids, also they're up at night. It's difficult to get sleep. You're tired. Chayav likvoa lo zman l'talmud Torah bayom u'v'layla. He's obligated to be kovei zman both at daytime and at nighttime. Now, what's different from here and in Orach Chaim, what we just learned about Kvias Itim Torah, is that over there it applies that it's only Bayom. You just have to be Kovei Itim one time throughout the day. Here he's adding Bayom Uva Laila, and he's quoting it from the pasuk because it says Shenemar V'Yigisa Bo Yom V'Laila. You should be delving into Torah both at day and at night. I'm not sure why there's this discrepancy. Why here in Yoredeya it's
obvious ways. In the morning, he's talking about what you do in the morning. So in the morning, you have your breakfast, you daven, you have your breakfast, and then you go learn. He's not discussing in the morning what you're doing at night time. So, meaning they're both true. In the morning, yes, you have to be kovei zman, but here he's saying at night you also have to be kovei zman. Before, he was just talking about the morning statement.
Yeah, I like what Alex is saying. That in Orach Chaim, he's talking about your Seder Hayom in the morning. So therefore, it only mentions the Kvias Itim at daytime. But over here, it's referring to the mitzvah of V'Yigisa Bo Yom V'Layla, the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. So there, he's going to mention the full scope of the mitzvah, which is that a person should be Kovei Itim both daytime and nighttime. Okay. So we have so over here he's adding Kvias Itim Torah both daytime and nighttime. He doesn't go as much into the mitzvah of Kvias Itim like we did in Orach Chaim, just overview. But he brings over here the Ramah, and the Ramah is the like extra little sniff lahakel. Says the Ramah, Uvishas adchak afilu lo kara rak kriya shema shachris v'arvis lo yamushu mipicha karinan me. That even if a person only does kriya shema b'di'eved, he doesn't have enough time to be kovei itim, so we would still call it V'Yigisa Bo Yom V'Layla. And you could see in the Shach up here, this is the commentary of the Shach on this side, and the Shach over here, he quotes the Gemara, which is the Gemara in, I believe it was Menachos? Yeah, Menachos Taf Tzadi Tes Amud Beis. And the Gemara in Menachos Taf Tzadi Tes Amud Beis brings a machlokas between Abaye and Rava about this matter. Whether a person is, so it says V'Yigisa Bo Yom V'Layla, and then comes along the Gemara and says, could be that if a person just says Kriya Shema, would that already be enough of a little bit of a mitzvah of learning? Because you're learning, you're reading from the Torah when a person says Kriya Shema. So Abaye layet, Abaye, like he figuratively cursed anybody who would teach this to Amei Haaretz, an Am Haaretz. Because basically what you're saying is, you don't really need to learn every day. As long as you read Kriya Shema, you've already fulfilled your minimum required by the Torah. So Abaye was against, right? Very strongly against. Don't teach this to Amei Haaretz. Everybody has to learn every single day. Otherwise, that's why they're just going to perpetuate being an Amei Haaretz, because you're giving them a way out. But Rava held, no, we should be teaching this to Amei Haaretz. Why? Rashi brings down that the reason we should be teaching this to Amei Haaretz, because if they see how much schar they get for just reading Kriya Shema, then how much more so if they're actually learning Torah day and night, right? If they're Kovei Itim LaTorah, they're going to get so much more schar. So Rava saw this, it's like a motivating factor for the Amei Haaretz, because they see how much schar they get just for reading Kriya Shema, how much more so if they actually learn Torah, and it's actually going to motivate the Amei Haaretz even more. So that was the machlokas. The Ramah paskins like Rava, right? He's saying we should be teaching it to Amei Haaretz, and that's why the Shulchan Aruch leaves it out, right? He doesn't want to mention it. The Ramah, because he was going like Abaye, that we shouldn't mention that there's this way out of saying Kriya Shema, and that a person could fulfill his mitzvah of Kvias Itim LaTorah through it. Sorry, not Kvias Itim LaTorah, that's separate, but V'Yigisa Bo Yom V'Layla, Torah requirement. But the Ramah adds it in because he held like Rava that no, it's a motivating factor, right? If we mention that to Amei Haaretz, that even Kriya Shema, a person's getting schar, then how much more so when a person is actually Kovea Itim LaTorah. Then the Shulchan Aruch continues, Umi she'iyafshar lilmod, mipnei she'enu yodea klal lilmod, o mipnei atirdos she'yesh lo, yaspik la'acherem halomdim. So a person who isn't able to learn, so we saw in Orach Chaim that if a person isn't able to learn, he should still come to shul or wherever they're teaching Torah, or listen to shiurim, even if he doesn't understand. Just by osmosis, he's going to be picking up some of that enthusiasm for learning and some of the Devar Hashem. But over here, he's mentioning that if a person can't learn, another thing to do is also to give to others who can learn, and through that, a person can get schar of learning. And there's quotes over here from the Igros Moshe, Moshe Feinstein. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly. It was in one of the footnotes that I wanted to show. But basically, Moshe Feinstein says that we're not talking about a guzma here, which means like it's not like an exaggeration that when a person gives to others, it's like he himself is actually learning. Moshe Feinstein says that no, it really counts like a person's actual learning Torah when he supports other people that are learning, because you're ultimately the one who's enabling that other person to learn. And he brings over here that precedence should come public learning, right, as opposed to private learning. So first public learning, like in yeshivas or kolalim or community kolalim, or that's what should take precedence if a person wants to support others and get the schar limud, and he's not able to learn as much as he should. One of the ways of getting extra schar limud would be to support others and enabling others to bring more Torah into the world. So that's the halacha of yaspik la'acherem halomdim, supporting other people, and that's why we find how much support we're seeing for yeshivos like Mir and BMG, and there's already hundreds of yeshivas throughout the world. A lot of it is coming from this Shulchan Aruch, that this is like our bread and butter, right? Like even if we can't learn, support others, and this has always been a staple of the Jewish people and how we've perpetuated for so long and kept our values so strong is because through Mesiras Nefesh, the Balabatim have been continuously supporting the Young Light to learn, and we kind of have this shutvis between the two, which are enabling the yeshiva guys to learn. And the Ramah continues over here, V'teichashiv lo ki'ilu lomed ba'atzmo, when a person supports Torah, it's considered like he himself is learning. And that's the Igros Moshe is going on this, of course. Igros Moshe is going on this, and he's saying that it's not a guzma. This is a real deal. He says we don't find in the poskim in the Ramah that he makes exaggerations. The Ramah says it exactly how it is. There's no exaggerations in the Ramah. The Ramosha says. But it counts as if the person himself is learning. V'yachol adam lahasno sim chavero shehu yasik b'Torah. Now he gets into what's called the shutvis of Yisachar Zvulun. So what's Yisachar Zvulun? That a person can make a tanai with his friend, right? So you have one businessman and one kolal guy, and a person can stipulate, he can make a condition that he will be osik b'Torah, v'hu yamtzi lo panasa, and he'll support him in business, v'yachlek imo b'schar, and they'll split the reward together. Osek Batorah. So this is like a proper shtar that people make, signing that they're going to split the schar, and one of them are going to learn, one of them are going to work. That way, each of them can maximize, right? Some people have better business acumen. They're much better in business, right? If the guy who's learning would try to be working in business, you'd probably be making minimum wage or much less. Right, so the guy who's business, he's doing what he's good at. The guy learning, he's doing what he's good at, and bringing more Torah into the world. So both of them are basically utilizing their skills. Obviously, the businessman can't completely negate learning. He also has a mitzvah of learning, and it's famous from, was it one of the major Gedolim, one of the Bnei Brak Gedolim, I can't remember which one. But they mentioned in this Yisachar Zvulun contract, and he said, like, yes, that they said, oh, but isn't the person who's supporting the learning, doesn't he get just as much schar as the person learning? He said, yes, he gets the same olam haba, but he doesn't get the same amount of olam haza that I get from learning Yom V'Layla. So a person, the olam haza that a person gets from learning is also amazing when you tap into the joy of connection of dveikus to Hashem through learning. Also is an amazing amount of pleasure in this world. So obviously, even if a person Yisachar Zvulun, you're getting the same amount of schar as the person learning. But nevertheless, not to negate, there's also a mitzvah of yidiyas Torah, of knowing Torah. So not to negate that aspect of learning. But nevertheless, it does split up 50-50 when it comes to the schar. V'yachlok imo b'schar, and he splits with him the schar, proper contract. Aval im kivar osek batorah, ino yachol limkor lo. But if the person is already learning, so then you can't sell him chelak b'shvil maman sheyiten lo. Meaning you can't actually make a kinyan on the schar limud that a person has. It only works if you stipulate beforehand that the schar is going to split 50-50. Once you already learned, you can't say, oh, I'll sell you the last 10 years of my learning schar for $2 million or whatever it is.
This last line of the Ramah is not clear to me. Does he mean if someone has been learning for the last 10 years full time, he can't say, okay, I'll give you 5 years of learning, you give me 5 years of wages? Is that what he's saying? Or he's saying, because the beginning of the Ramah sounded like, no one's decided what they're doing with their life. I go to someone, I say, okay, I'll support you from today, and you learn. So then you could divide it.
Right.
But then it sounds like if someone was so it doesn't mean if someone is already in kollel, you can't do Yisachar Zvulun, even going forward, or does it mean that if he's already in kollel, you can't do Yisachar Zvulun going backwards, but you can do it going forwards?
I think it's in kivar osak b'torah, if he already learned, meaning the past learning. So all the past learning you can't sell.
Right. The beginning of the Ramah says, "Yachol adam lahasros im chaver shehu yasach b'torah v'yavs leparnasa," which means
right. So it just if you already learned, it's only for stipulation going forward on future learning that the person
my
does.
question, let's say you have a guy who's in kollel, and he's going to be in kollel no matter what.
Yeah. So then you could do.
But he's already going to be there. What are you adding to the equation?
What?
The beginning of Ramah says like
No, but it's just the way that the stipulation works.
right. Okay.
Yeah, he would have.
He wouldn't take the money unless without the money he can't do it. He's not taking the money because he's also have money in the bank account.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And that's what it said. If he already learned previous learning that he did any yachal limkor law, you can't sell it. It's not like a sale. It's only a stipulation that you
if
can.
someone says I want to be learning full time, but even though I've been doing it for 10 years,
Yeah, so
I
then
want to remain there.
Yeah.
Help me then.
Yeah.
What if you don't make it tonight? You just give it to the other.
I knew a kolo guy who did one of these. But, there was a balabas that was doing a lot of that was doing a lot of Yisachar Zvulun's. And one of the kolo guys, he wanted to continue learning. He's like, this is my opportunity. So he did it.
What if you don't do it tonight? Does it count? Like if you don't make a contract or stipulation or even a verbal, surely it would still count, right?
If what?
If a person doesn't make a verbal or written stipulation tonight, that
Yeah, so then it wouldn't count.
it would not count.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, the schar wouldn't be split 50-50. The balabas would still get the schar of tomche of supporting Torah, of tmichas Torah, but he wouldn't get the schar of Yisachar Zvulun, where it splits 50-50.
Let's say the father supports his son in learning. You're saying if he doesn't stipulate that they're going 50-50 on the schar, or he supports his son in learning.
Yeah, so then it wouldn't split 50-50. You'd get the schar of supporting Torah, which we said is amazing in the beginning. We had
Isn't that self-understood though? Surely that's self-understood.
that what?
That if A is supporting B, whether it's a relative or someone
No,
else.
because this is specifically, it's like a business deal that you're making. Like just like partnership, we go 50-50 on everything. So that's what you're when you do Yisachar Zvulun, it's a partnership in your learning. It's a 50-50 partnership. Not that I'm learning and you're supporting me, and yes, you'll get schar for supporting me. It's no, we're 50-50 in this. Both of us are putting in our hishtadlus, and therefore we want to split the schar.
It's a very difficult concept.
Yeah.
Because ultimately all schar is in the hands of a Kodesh Baruch Hu.
Yeah.
And we are sort of basically, assuming to ourselves the schar that will be accruing.
Yeah.
I find it very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's always difficult. But here, what he's saying is, it's real partnership, just like business partners.
How do you make a legal partnership with something which is in the Yad Hashem?
Yeah.
There is a difference because if you make that agreement, then you still if you don't have an agreement, then it's much easier.
In other words, it's for the benefit of the people rather than the people who are making the.
It's more obligation on yourself with an agreement than just generally supporting, because that support can disappear tomorrow.
Hang on a second. With this,
Yeah.
I have another question. With this 50, so let's say you have a 50-50 schar arrangement. I will pay your wages. Does that mean that, let's say a person becomes a billionaire, does he have to give half of his earnings to the
No, no, it's a certain amount, or whatever the.
Then you can have multiple people you're supporting,
Yeah, it's
and then
whatever.
you get more schar
Yeah.
than if you were sitting there learning.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really? So
Using, yeah,
better to be the
it's
Balabas.
good leverage.
You'll be supporting 10 people, and then you're getting the learning of 5 people.
Yeah.
Half the learning, which is more than you could get in your own. So.
Yeah.
sound on Hazela?
Well, yeah.
You get Olam Haba.
Yeah.
5 times the amount.
Yeah, I did hear from Balabas in Chicago. He asked Rav Chaim Kanievsky if he should stop working. He told Rav Chaim Kanievsky how much he's making. I don't know, probably $2 million a year or something like that. Really wealthy person, ate at his house a few times. He collects Mishnah Beruahs from every very interesting guy. He has Rav Steinman Mishnah Beruah. He has from the mirror of Chaim Shmulevitz. At Shanghai, you could see like the Chinese printed on the cover because they use the old Chinese books to reprint them and stuff. Very cool. And he has all the notes from the Gedolim as well. Rabbi Elyashiv's Mishnah Berurah. He hired somebody to go house to house and buy all the Mishnah Berurahs, and he has them all in a shelf, and you could look like one to the next with all the notes. Very cool. So he asked. He asked Rav Chaim Kanievsky if he should stop working or minimize his hours in order that he should learn more. Rav Chaim Kanievsky said how much are you giving to yeshivas? Whatever. He told them around what he was supporting the yeshiva. He said absolutely not. Like the amount that you're doing to support the yeshivas is I don't know how to say that, but more than the learning. That you would do. He said, obviously, you should be kovea itim and have your set hours and try to increase those hours. And yeah, if you wanted to take off like an hour or two to grow and do more, but the amount, right? If you're supporting 100 kol yungalite, leveraging your time 100 times of what you would be able to do, so that you have an achrayas now to support those yeshivas, and if you would now taper off and give the yeshivas less, everybody's going to be struggling. So that's what Rav Chaim Kanievsky told them at the time. Yeah. So we see it's not like it's a real source, and yeah, a person could be leveraging if he's making a lot of money. He could be leveraging his time even more through working than through learning. It's not pushing. But everybody should ask their own shilas when it comes time. Okay, so now we'll move on to Sif Beis. Yumad Adam Torah va'achar kach yisa isha. This is a Gemara in Kedushin. Gemara in Kedushin. That a person should learn Torah and then afterwards he should get married. She'im yisa isha tchila i'afshar lo la'asak b'Torah, because if a person gets married first, he's not going to be able to learn Torah. Me'achar sherechayim b'tzavara. The Gemara refers to it as putting a grinding, what? A millstone. A millstone on your neck, right? Marriage can grind you down. There's no more freedom. And if a person cannot concentrate without a woman, because his Yetzer Hara is miskaber on him, then Yisa Isha Tchila, then he should get married to a woman first. So this is a big question now that a lot of the Rosh Yeshivas have different opinions on. What age should a person get married on? So there are those who are in favor. A person shouldn't get married till 21, 22, 23. Why? Because he's got to learn Torah first. He needs a good 5 years in yeshiva. He's got to get a good foundation in learning to his life, in halacha, in Gemara, in poskim. And then afterwards, he should get married. But on the flip side, you have other Rosh Yeshiva that said, no, 18, 19, I already want the guys dating because too much Yetzer Hara, right? A person is at his peak Yetzer Hara at that age, gets up to no good. First get married, it'll calm down the Yetzer Hara, he'll be more settled. And then he can learn afterwards in Kollel for many years. Yeah, Shmona Esrei Lechuppah, and you have, who is it? Rabbi Eliezer, who said, I would poke the eyes of the Satan because I got married at 18.
The Shulchan Aruch himself passed in Ebenezer, I think 18, and then latest 20. So when he brings it down here, he's talking about between the ages of 13 and 18 or 13 and 20. At that point, you should learn and you shouldn't get married at 13 or 14 or 15.
Yeah.
You need to learn at least till you're 18 or at most till you're 20.
Yeah.
Like, he's not saying like the guy should learn till he's 40, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's also pashut that we're maturing slower. It's interesting, like our instincts are kicking in faster, like hormones are coming in faster based on what we're eating, etc. But maturing-wise, like we're not sent out into the field and required basic living and survival at a young age, right? Our parents let us chill at home. We have maids or workers helping us out. Everything nowadays, since baby boomers, right, are spoiling the kids. So much less responsibilities that kids have. Definitely maturing much slower. So same thing with marriage. You need to be on a certain level of responsibility in order to take care of a home, to think outside of yourself, to think about others, to be less self-centered. And generally you find when kids get married at 18, right, unless you're like more mature, but that could sometimes a person's not mature enough to fully hold space for another person. So that's also another factor that goes in. Are people mature enough to be able to get along, get past their hakpados, and get married at such a young age?
You go to Melbourne or New York or Yerushalayim, you have Hasidim, they all get married at 18.
Yeah.
And you don't find that like they have a huge. I mean, you don't know individually, but overall, it seems to work.
Right. Yep. Could be. It's also like dependent on the society, right? Like certain societies, it's just more like they follow with like tamimus, like trust their parents. They're going into it fully. This is what Hashem wants from me. So there's more of like, there's less complications of like, she said this to me, now I have double thoughts, and it's much more simplistic, right? That kind of lifestyle. So it could be getting married at 18 will work. You have to know for every society what the ideal age is, and what's gonna produce the most, produce the best marriage, and go into it with that kind of mindset and at that age. So for Litvish society, people they get married a little bit later. They find that that's what works best when people are at the right maturity. Other societies, it's going to work to get married younger. It's also on an individual level, right? Some people will ask their Rosh Yeshiva, be like, you're ready to get married at 19. I've seen that many times where the Rosh Yeshiva wanted specific individuals to start dating younger than others. So it's really dependent. Every person matures differently based on his life circumstances, based on his characteristics, and what he's exposed to. And it's a cultural thing as well, right? Melbourne generally get married much younger. In America, it depends on the place. Some places older, some places younger. Eretz Yisrael also, the boys and girls get married much younger. And it works based on the society and what people see other people doing and how fast they mature and what they're exposed to. So all that is gonna affect. Okay. So we'll do one more halacha over here. So that's the age that a person should get married, and those are basically the two playing factors that come in, right? On the one hand, we want you to get married young because Yitzhar Miskaber Alav, and then once you get married, so then your instincts are more settled, and then you could focus more on learning, right? But on the other hand, once you get married, then you have all these responsibilities. Much more difficult to focus on learning and give like 100% of your all, right? You always what? Daigas Parnasa. You got to support exactly. You got to support the family, and your wife needs support as well, and somebody to talk to. So you have these two conflicting ideas, and a person basically has to take into account which one of those is affecting him most, and how he can get the best learning out of his time. Okay, moving on to Gimel. Until when is a person obligated to learn? Until the day he dies, right? Well, a person, it's not like a taper off. Learning isn't tapering off. Like as you get older, you can learn a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. On the contrary, maybe, right? As you get older, sometimes we have more time as we're getting closer to retirement or retiring. So a person is obligated to learn until the day that he dies. Shenemar ufen yasuru milvavcha kol yemei chayecha. Because the pasuk says you should not remove the words of Torah from your heart all of the days of your life. But kol zman shelo yasuk b'Torah hu shocheach. And whenever a person is not involved in learning Torah, he ends up forgetting Torah. Right? It's like a downward elevator. Right? Anytime you're not going up, yes, you're going downwards. The same thing with our memory. It drops memories and thoughts. So like as you continue on, if you're not chazering or if you're not learning new Torah, so then you're going to end up forgetting, and then eventually Torah is not going to be on the forefront of your mind. You're not going to be thinking on those lines, and your avodas Hashem altogether is going to drop. So that's the importance of a person continuously learning. Right? Never, okay, I'm already 70, now I can relax, right? Bikesh Yaakov Leisha B'Shava, right? Once I'm 70, I can relax. No, a person always has to be pushing himself to gain as much Torah knowledge as he possibly can, even later into life, to make sure that he's never emptying out from Torah and his avodas Hashem. Okay, we'll stop over here at Gimel for today. Shakoach, everybody. A lot of interesting controversy.